Okay, so let's take a seat in all this confusion um, and let's open to the question of why we're really doing this detox. Kind of all details aside and all confusion aside of like what's the deeper purpose. We're all seeking this deeper alignment with our source. And you start to breathe into that. Let your ears be soft and open. And come into this realization that we are really stepping into part of a greater movement in this detox, in this cleanse. And you just listen to everything that's coming up for you, whether it's fear, anxiety, confusion, or clarity. We're all in different places. Draw your hands together at your heart. Exhale all the way out. Find your sitting bones. Inhale again, deep breath. Exhale all the way. So we'll begin again with Saha now Vavatu, and we'll just do call and repeat, so you can keep your eyes closed. Exhale all the way completely. Inhale a big breath. Sahanao Vavatu. Sahanao Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam. Karavavahai. Tejasvi. Navati Tamastu. Mavit. Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And we'll do one round of the Goddess Bija mantras. So if you don't have a sheet, you can share with your neighbor. So close your eyes or keep them slightly open so you can see. So Om Aim Hrim Klim Chaimundaye Viche. So we'll actually do 3 rounds. And take a deep breath in. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chaimundaye Viche. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chaimundaye Viche. Om Aim Hrim Chai Mundaye Vishe. Take a moment to come back to your breath. Gently release your hands. And inhale. Open your eyes slowly. Good. And exhale. Let's go ahead and come up to standing. So come up to the front of our mats and just take this first moment or so and shake out your hands. Shake out your feet. Move your head side to side. You can even just start to jump. Some of you might have watched Kate's video where she was doing this and going shh, 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 shh. So you can try that. It's a qigong. You can even start to slow it down, bring your heels back. Just shaking out all those kind of worries, concerns, confusion. And then we'll just take the hands together at the heart and just take a moment here. Feel your feet on the ground, your breath full. Exhale all the way out, release your arms to your sides. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way to the sky. Interlace the palms and stretch the palms up. And then we'll inhale, root down through the heels, reach up through the side waves all the way to the palms, and exhale up and over to your right. You can turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the left. And inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Bring your fingertips in front of your toes. Inhale, take a big breath, straight spine. Exhale, fold forward. 2 more times. Inhale, fill up with prana. And exhale. Inhaling. Just take in that primary food of the breath. And exhale, a deep bow. 5 breaths here. Shifting your weight forward and back to the inner and outer edges of your feet. And finding that place right in the middle where you feel supported throughout the rest of your body. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, step your right leg back. Let's walk the hands to the inside of the foot. And you can scoot your foot over to the side. And as you inhale, lift your back leg up away from the floor. Exhale, soften between your shoulder blades. You're drawing energy from the earth up into your feet, up into your pelvis, feeling that stability. Exhale, melt your heart again. Scoot your foot back in towards center. Set your right hand down and inhale, stretch your left arm to the sky. exhale, release. And step forward with your right foot. Inhale, look up, straighten your spine. And then exhale, step your left leg back. And both hands to the inside of your foot. Again, take a deep breath in, lifting the back thigh, the inner back thigh, square off your hips, and then exhale, melt, soften. So, the cleanse is an opportunity for us to stop efforting. That's kind of hard in our culture because we're used to that kind of driven, efforting place, right? So we want to know. We want to know what the cleanse, we want to know what it's going to do. And so let's just come into a place of letting go of all that. And not trying so hard, but just letting the intuitive part of ourselves come through our breath. Scoot your foot back in, set your left hand down, inhale, stretch your right arm to the sky. So there's effort, there's enough effort, right, to stabilize. But then we want to let go, we want to let the pose, let the asana actually move through you. Instead of trying to do it, let it be there. Allow it to move through you. Deep breath in. Exhale, release your hands. And slide back downward facing dog. So you can take this first dog pose, walk your dog, stretching side to side. And then bring your feet together. Inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky. And keep the arms strong. Bend your knee and open up your hip playfully. And try to keep that left waistline elongating as you open. And then exhale, pull your knee all the way in, step forward. Release your back knee to the floor. And inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. Again, clasp the hands, the opposite clasp, and stretch the arms up. Palms up towards the ceiling. Yeah. And you can micro bend your elbows a little bit, float your armpits back, and then lift up through the chest, curl back, breathe. And then exhale, release. Turn your right foot straight out and roll to the outer edge of your left foot. Good. And then inhale, stretch your right arm to the sky. Yeah. So you can play here with dropping your hip towards the floor and then lifting it. So like doing little hip push-ups. Feeling that stretch in the side waist. And then exhale, release your hand. Walk over to your left. And same thing here. Come up onto your back toes, release your back knee to the floor. Good, and then inhale, sweep your arms up. Switch clasps. Stretch the palms up. The armpits float back, heart lifts. Good, and then exhale. Release your right hand to the floor. Turn your left foot straight out and roll to the outer edge of your right foot. And then inhale, sweep your left arm back. Yeah. You can play with slowly dropping your right hip towards the floor. Just easing into that hip. The hip rotators. We'll take one more breath here. And then inhale, exhale, release your hand. Walk your hands over to the right and just come into a side lunge. So bend your right knee. Yeah. You can actually come up onto your left heel. And breathe. Good, and then walk over to the left, bend your left knee. Yeah, it can get a little tight with this pose. And then inhale back to center, walk back to the front of your mats, and slide your way back, downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So watch the part of you, probably the more pitta part of you, that efforts, that is always having to do or think about what to do. And see if you can undo. See if you can start to undo and unwind obviously without losing the support of your muscles hugging to your bones. And so that outer layer softens. Inhale, slide your chest forward. Exhale, knees to the floor or straight legs. Lower down, chaturanga. Point your toes. Inhale, bhujangasana. Root the pubic bone and lift up through the heart. Spread your collarbones, curl back. Yeah. You can look over your left shoulder without collapsing your shoulders, and then inhale back to center, look over your right shoulder. Back to center, inhale, big breath. Exhale, lower. Press back through your knees. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. Let's go ahead and take the thumbs together. Touch your thumbs. Yeah. Wait for the bottom of your next breath and then step your right foot to the outside. Yeah. And some of you might like to come all the way down onto your elbows at this point, or you can just stay here and work the pose here. So where can you soften more? Where do you tend to hold tension? Is it your shoulders, your jaw? And can you just let that soften? And effort where you need to. Inhale, come back up onto your hands. Turn your left foot out. Bring your right elbow onto your thigh, Utthita Parshva. We'll just pause here with the left hand on the hip, moving the inner thighs back and wide. Scoop your outer right hip. Spin your left arm overhead. And breathe. The longer you've practiced yoga, the more you can kind of immediately tap into the flow of prana, because your body knows the alignment. It's kind of like when you cleanse. If you cleanse on a regular basis, your body knows what to do when the cleanse comes. There's an intuitive part of you that knows. Exhale, look down at your foot, release both hands, downward facing dog. Take another full breath all the way out, completely to the bottom. And step your left foot forward. You can touch your thumbs once you get there. So hands to the inside of your foot. And then either stay here or come down onto your elbows. Yeah. And pulse with your breath as you inhale, lift your back thigh up away from the floor. And exhale, soften. Let go. So we're letting go of anything that's getting in our way, even if it's the thoughts, right, that get in the way of, I can't do this cleanse. Let it go. With every out breath, let it go. Inhale, come back up onto your hands. Turn your right foot out. And slide your elbow onto your thigh. Right hand onto your hip for a pause. So we open the buttocks wide. We turn to something bigger than ourselves for this cleanse, right? And we trust in that. And then scoop your outer left hip, spin your right arm overhead, and breathe. Relax your jaw, your eyes. Take another full breath here. And exhale, release your hands to the floor. Step back to downward dog or move through vinyasa. You can come into plank pose and move into bhujangasana or upward dog, or stay right where you are. Exhale completely, step or hop forward. And we'll take the feet hip distance wide, Padangustasana. So take your big toes with your middle and index finger. You can bend your knees slightly if you need to begin with, just to get your toes. And then slowly straighten your legs as you bend your elbows wide and release your crown. So you play with the engagement of your legs, right? As you shift forward and back, releasing your toes. How much do I need to engage to support, right? And the rest can let go. The holding patterns that don't serve you can let go. So the shoulders, the jaw. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, set your right hand out in front. Keep your hips level as you inhale, stretch your left arm to the sky. And push from your sitting bones down into your heels. And from that pushing, can you extend your spine more all the way through the crown and twist? Gaze over your left shoulder. One more big breath. Inhale, exhale, release. Set your left hand down. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. So we're lengthening and elongating the spine as we're twisting. Every inhale, we find more space between each vertebrae, all the way to the crown. And exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, step your right leg back. Inhale, take your hands up onto your thigh. Everybody having fun? Yay, good. So we'll bow forward, push down into the thigh, and draw the belly in and up. So we create support in the lowest part of the belly and mula bandha of the perineum. Then inhale, sweep your right arm to the sky. Exhale, wrap your elbow to the outside of your knee. And fold your hands at your heart. Pause for a breath. Come back to your breath. If you have a glimpse of the trees outside, just take a moment to come back to that recognition of the natural world. That we are connected to nature. Nature doesn't need coffee, right? Or sugar. So if you want to open your arms for the last couple of breaths, you can take your right hand down, left arm to the sky. Exhale, look down, release, and walk your hands all the way over. And pause in the middle with the feet parallel for Prasarita Padottanasana A. So walk your hands out first. So your hands come right underneath your chest. Shift your weight slightly forward of your heels so that the quadricep muscles tone. And then exhale, walk your hands between your feet. A good pose to stagger if you haven't figured that out. Let your eyes gaze softly past the tip of your nose. So there's a point with the asanas, right, where we let go of thinking about them, thinking about alignment, and we just are. We're being in the pose. We're being in the flow of prana. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, walk to the back foot. Come up onto your back toes. And bring your hands up onto your thigh. Just pause for a moment. Root down through your legs. Inhale, sweep the left arm to the sky. And then exhale, wrap it around. So with every in-breath, we breathe inside into the light, into the knowing that we can do this, right? We can do this cleanse individually, together, as a community, that we're actually giving each other strength. One more deep breath in. You can open your arms for the last breath or two. And then exhale, release. And we'll come back to downward facing dog from here. Good. Take a deep breath in. And a full breath, again, just letting go. Let the skin drape over the inner body. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana or upward dog. Exhale, pull back. Take another full breath in. Exhale to the bottom. Step your left foot forward. Turn your right foot straight out. And then come on up halfway. Reach back and interlace your hands. Root from your pelvis into your feet. Open the chest. Inhale a big breath. Exhale, bow forward. Bow to the inside of the foot. So try to keep the outer left hip pulling in slightly. Again, just enough to align you. Shoulders rolling back, and then we just soften from the inside. And then release your hands. And we're going to walk over. Watch out for your friend in front so you can stagger. And we'll come back to Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhaling and exhale, walk your hands. Yeah, and fold forward. And come back to breathing. Okay. So where do you go into overdo mode? Okay. Or for the kaphas, where do you underdo? I mean, where can you bring a little more aliveness, awareness? Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, walk to your right. Turn your right foot out. Good. Where were we? The cleanse is starting to go to my head. Thank you. Okay, so reach back. Clasp your hands together. Next week will be interesting. Big breath here and exhale, fold. Listen to your breath, the quality of your breathing. Can you follow each breath, each out breath, to your mula, to your root, to your foundation? And from there, can you expand through your in-breath? One more breath. Exhale, release your hands to the floor and step back to down dog. So if you're feeling a little more active, you can go through vinyasa. Otherwise, come down and take a breath or two in child's pose. See where everybody's at. Yeah. Good. Take another full breath here in child's pose or downward facing dog. Good. And then from wherever you are, inhale, draw your right knee forward, half pigeon. So you can play with bringing your foot to that kind of ideal place for you where you meet your edge. Yeah. And then walk your hands back. Inhale a big breath. Lift from your pelvic floor all the way up the front line of your spine to your palate. Feel that ligament lengthen that's in front of your spine. And then exhale. Walk your way out. And come down onto your elbows or all the way down to the floor. We go back inside. We go back to nature, which is where we source, right? Ultimately, we source all of our nutrients from nature. And so we have to trust that though we're changing patterns, and these patterns are not easy to change, that nature's going to support us, right? In all of her nourishing ways. So we'll take another breath or two. And then inhale, walk your way back up. We'll come into a twist here, so you can walk your hands to the left. Just stay up on your fingertips for a couple of breaths. As you inhale, the feet, draw energy from your feet into your pelvic floor. And then as you exhale, just melt your heart. I think in a way it's like our culture is we're not trained to be nourished, right? So it's kind of a new thing that we have to learn. How do we be nourished? How do we nourish ourselves and each other through this process? How do we? How do we? Group yoga, yes. Yes. Hugs. Kindness. Walks in nature. Snuggle. Nice. Inhale, coming back. Exhale, downward dog. And that can be with our dogs, our pets, right? Even the tree in our backyard. Inhale, slide your left knee forward. I've been snuggling with the trees when I go out for walks. I'm a tree hugger. So we'll take a couple of breaths here, just lifting up through the front of your spine. Big breath. Belly pulls in towards the spine, and then exhale, walk yourself out. Ultimately, we nourish through unconditional love. I mean, of course, that's hardest to find to give ourselves that unconditional love. Let's come back to your breath, deep Ujjayi, nourishing Ujjayi pranayama. It's almost like every breath is a wave washing over you, releasing that which is not going to serve you as you move forward. Inhale, walk your way back up. Exhale, walk your hands to the right. And we just keep the feet alive, pulling that energy from the feet into the pelvis. Exhale, soften your heart. So where do you meet sensation in your hip? Can you bring your breath right to that sensation? I think ideally you're keeping that right leg rotating inward. It's an inner spiral. Yeah. Yes, but you're moving the left waistline. Yeah. And inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, downward dog. Oh. And either moving through vinyasa or just stay right where you are. You just kind of see where your energy is. Tune in. I think a big part of what Kate is offering us is learning how to drop into our intuition. And some of us have a hard time with that. A lot of us, right? We don't always want to trust ourselves. We want to be told by someone else how to do it. We just keep coming back to the trust. Good. Take your hands together. Bring your thumbs so they're touching. Exhale, wait for the bottom of your breath. Step your right foot forward. And go ahead and bring your back knee to the floor and walk your right shoulder or elbow, wherever you're at, behind your knee. So we'll get into a little bit of a deeper hip stretch. And then you can just start to circle your hips around. So when we get into moving a little more spirally, which we're doing even in the still poses, right? Inner spiral, outer spiral, all those different spirals. Those are more kind of nourishing movements in the body. Inhale, release your shoulder. Exhale, walk over to your left. And we're going to turn the feet straight out, come onto the knees. Again, stagger. And so you just want to make sure that your shins are parallel, feet turn straight out, and come down into frog pose. Wow. You're open. So then you can play with shifting your hips back and forth a little bit and almost like massaging. Are you guys okay back there? A little crunched? Okay. Almost as though you're massaging those, the inseam of your adductor muscles, right up at the attachment. How you doing, Danny? You finding some space? Okay, let's inhale, come back up. Enough of that. And walk to your back leg. So you're going to turn your left foot out. Which is our back leg. Okay. Left foot out, right? Yeah. Right knee to the floor. And then you can go ahead and slide your hips back. Walk your elbow or your shoulder behind the knee, and then place your hands on either side of your foot, and you're just going to start to Gently circle your hips. And they can be small little micro circles or bigger circles in your hips. Keep breathing, listening. Great, and then inhale, release your shoulder. And so then let's walk back over to the right. Keep yourself staggered as much as possible. And we're going to come into Samakonasana. And so you're going to start to widen your feet. And you want to go to the point where you can still engage your inner thighs. And so the adductor muscles hug in. And then you widen. And some of you can come down onto your elbows. Maybe, maybe not. If you're like an ex-dancer or one of those super flexible people, then you can actually go all the way down and come up onto your heels. Do we have any of those in here? Jeannie's pretty close. Ex-dancer. Yeah. So just keep hugging the muscles to bone. Yeah. And extending through your bones from your hips down into your heels. And breathe. Your knees? Feet. Feet are pointed straight ahead. Yep. Great. And then inhale, walk your way back up. Scoot. You're going to toe heel your feet in a little bit. And then you'll come back to the front of your mats and slide back. And just take a moment to feel. When you come out of the pose, what do you feel? Do you feel more connected? More connected from your inner heels all the way up to your pelvis, from your pelvis back down into your hands. And then let's come down onto our knees for Virasana. Okay, so if you need a blanket or a block, you can put it right back behind you. You're going to come up onto your knees. Place your fingers behind your knees and just slide the calves down and slightly out, and then sit between your heels.